Sicela sithandaze. Baba wethu siyabonga ngalesi sikhathi othi Nkosi wasinikeza Nkosi ukuthi Nkosi size phambi kwakho. Siyabonga Nkosi ukuthi sizoni sinjena kodwa Nkosi wena ubusithanda ngale ndlela. Cela ke Nkosi ube nomuntu wakho ke Nkosi mangabe izoqala ke Nkosi present. Uvule Nkosi nathi ingqondo zethu nenhliziyo Nkosi. Sikuzwe Nkosi uthi Nkosi uthi sikuzwe. Lokho siyakhuleka. Amen.
Amen. Amen. So as I've said, we're dealing with part 1 of 4 of Daniel 11. Yes, wakala lena ngisho.
Yeah, I can say it's part 1 of 4.
Yes, of chapter 11. So we're in Daniel 11. That means we have divided it into 4 parts. For easy handling, for easy understanding, it's better to chew smaller nyana chunks than to chew a huge chunk at the same time. Indlovu abake zingala bathi kumele usike in pieces ukwazi ke ukuthi nithole noma uthi uzoyiqula indlela esinda ngayo ekuyenza lutho wedwa. So even this huge chunk, we are going to chew it up, bits and pieces, little by little, and we are going to complete it. Just a recap. Besiyesiqale lezi ifundo ngoMalachi 3 verse 16. Besiyisiqale kanjalo. I'm sure you still remember that. We used to enjoy these verses and the assurance that they are giving us. They are still there up to now. They are not going anywhere. But they stand there as a memorial and to remind us all the time that God is with us. Now, without further ado, let me zoom into the study for today. Not undermining or minimizing the importance of Daniel, of Malachi 3 verses 16 to 18. But looking at the length, this is quite long, so I have to rush forward and save you somehow, so that uzojoina later uzobe elahlekelwe ngempela. Now, the 4 kingdoms, awukho ka 5. Remember that there are only 4. Uma sithi there are only 4, what do we mean? We mean it is the Babylon Empire, kube Medo and Persia Empire, kube Greece or Christian Empire, kube Roman Empire. There are 4. But remember, there are 3. Get in much. Again.
Mina ngidideka kancane mfundisi mawuthi ena 4 but 3.
And there are 3.
Yes, there are 3.
Now, ngifuna ukuthi ngidideke khona ningazodideka. Now, mangithi there are 4 kingdoms and there are 3, because there are 4 kingdoms, yes, and there are 3 empires, because the 4th one wasn't an empire, it was a kingdom. And mzokhumbula ukuthi when you break down the empire, what do you remain with? Kulaba balogile in kule session engivela kuyona, you might remember what I said there. Ngilenza umbuso kaZulu. Nangu uZulu usehamba uyohlasela say umthetho. amfake ngaphansi kwakhe. Usay kingdom yini uZulu manje noma usay empire?
Empire.
Usay empire. Very good. Now asuke futhi uZulu awuhlasela umhlongo. Wandisa in kingdom yakhe noma empire yakhe.
Empire.
The empire. When this empire yakhe. Now, that means an empire is made up of many kingdoms under it. An empire is made up of many or more than one kingdom under it. Then that's an empire. A kingdom can be uZulu kingdom, KwaZulu kingdom alone. Awekho amaswati. But masukhuluma ngesinguni, then uyafaka amaXhosa, ufaka abeSuthu, ufaka amaswati, zonke lezi izizwe ekhuluma isinguni. Sengehlusa phakathi kwesiZulu nesinguni. Okay, asedluleke lapho. Now, I was saying, if you look at the diagram here, this was an empire, and this was the empire, and this was the empire, and this was the kingdom. And why am I saying that? It disintegrated there at the toes, because each toe there will represent a kingdom. That means an empire, when it breaks down, it becomes a kingdom. So figure lapho. Now, besathi-ke mawubhekisisa futhi lo Daniel chapter 2 lo iphupho lika Nebuchadnezzar la soku Daniel chapter 7 yiphupho futhi lika Daniel ke le kanti ke la further there sokuyi lempongo lenqama nalempongo nalolu phondo ncane soku uDaniel chapter 8 uqhubeka naye. So uzoqaphela ukuthi right now alisekho ibhubesi, because that kingdom is phased out. So kusele ini isifuba neingalo zesiliva, Middle Persia eqala kuyena this time. Ozolandela ubani? yiGreece, the third kingdom, nayo ezolandela ubani? Ezolandelwa iRome, a fourth kingdom. Sisazwena kwamanje?
Yebo.
Ya ngifuna usihambe kancane lana singajali. All right. Sengedlula ke. I'll give you an assignment. I did give you a homework then, it becomes an assignment now. That means it has to be done now and be completed now. So, the assignment you read Daniel 11 verses 1 and 2. Read that one for me right now and identify the speaker. Who is talking there? And what is he talking about? Kungcono ngiyenze nani le? You read Daniel 11 verses 1 or verse 2. Just identify for me who is speaking there, who's talking there. Let me help you by reading it. And in the first year of Darius the Mede, I took my stand to support and protect him. Kapela-ke, njoba kuthiwa end ekuqaleni, that means ayiqali la kulesi sahloko khona la iqale khona. In my Bible, which is the NIV, that there are brackets. That verse is bracketed, all of it. That would mean chapter 11 ngambela uqala verse 2. So who was talking verse 21 ka chapter 10?
Angel.
Is the angel. So chapter 11 verse 1 kusakhuluma ini? The angel is still talking. So lo mbuzo wami uthi, who is talking here? Now you know who is talking. Angithi?
Yes.
What is he talking about? We know who is talking, but what is he talking about?
Ukuthi uzochazela uDaniel.
uDaniel ubesengxakini yokuthi ubone ivision ku chapter 8. Why understand? No, I understand.
I understand.
Yes. Wazila ukudla chapter 9 ukhuluma ngo-2,300 days kwamqova umqondo kakhudlwanyana ke kunaqala lokhu Daniel. Now kwasekuthunyelwa ingilosi, especially wenza this man to understand. And did he understand? No. So what I'm saying, welcome Mvelas wena vele Nyandeni. What is important so far ukuthi when you do not understand this part of this prophecy or this book of Daniel, then ngoba even Daniel did not understand this. Heaven had to send specially to him an angel to come and explain to you. And heaven has done the same thing now with you, in that say to Mele Ukumaru, please explain this thing to this person. I must make you understand. That's my task now. I have to simplify this for you so that you can understand. Kuyezwakala so far?
Yeah.
All right. What is he talking about? He's talking about the transition from one empire to another. What is he talking about?
Transition.
The transition from one empire to another. From which empire kahle kahle? From the Medes and the Persian Empire into the Greek Empire. And from the Greek Empire into the Roman Kingdom.
Roman Empire.
I said now kingdom. And I will explain. I explained chapter 8 why say yona kingdom. So we empire, so we ngiyabona kathi ungene kamuva sisitholi nomvelathi nizosala la angifuni nisale. Now I've just said if umbuso wakwaZulu, the kingdom of the Zulus, all right, isi-attacker abakwamthembu ibafaka ngaphansi kombuso wayo, yenzani umbuso wakwaZulu?
Bayasithumba.
Come again?
Bayasithumba.
What is that ngesingisi?
Being captive.
They are extending their dominion. They are making an empire. When this kingdom attacks another kingdom and captures it and puts it under itself, so that kingdom is now extended. Now it is no longer just a kingdom, because an empire is a kingdom that has got more than one kingdom under it.
Yebo.
Mele sedlulelana ni-understanda kahle ngoba abantu abaningi basala la kulezi prophet ekaDaniel. Ebese seyifakela ke into zakhe umuntu kaThixo confuse abantu kakhulu kunakuqala. Now, when a kingdom expands and goes and attacks other kingdoms and put those kingdoms under itself, that we say that kingdom is building up an empire. Yes, Wakala.
Yeah.
Yebo.
Yes, Wakala. All right. Now, umbuso wesine awubangisayakha i-empire. Why? Ingakho ngithe umbuso wesine akuseyona i-empire kuyi-kingdom. You know what was happening? Angithi phela umbuso wesine usufike nama-republics. Are you getting it? Usufike ne-republican system. So sesiyakwazi ukuba sovereign as South Africans thina. NamaSwati lana are sovereign. NeLesotho right inside us is sovereign. It's a kingdom of itself. Angithi? That shows in the fragmentedness of the fourth kingdom. So angeke ngikwazi ukudlula lana ngoba this is critical. Man ngakutholile lokho. Are you clear here now? Okay. Ithi beka thatha nasi example bengiyenza yombuso wakwaZulu ohlasela abakwaMthembu, uhlasela abakwaMthetho, uhlasela abakwaMhlongo, ushiya abakwaKhumalo kuphela. Wenza lo mbuso amakhosi ayimele ngokwawo. Now lo Zulu njoba ethathe zonke lobo bunye ubukhosi nje bawomthetho odingiswayo ebafanga ngaphansi bakhe ubakha ini i-empire yamaZulu. Asazi ukuthi manje omthetho bathi nabo bangamaZulu manje kanti no bangabanguni banqotshwa uZulu. Yezwakala. So uShaka built an empire yamaZulu. Sizwene la. Now uma ke ese fragmenta le empire yamaZulu esethi uMthembu hayi sesiyafuna ubukhosi bethu nathi sodwa manje. Aqhamuke nobani nomthetho wathi nathi siyafuna ubukhosi bethu manje sodwa. That means that empire yamaZulu is fragmenting.
Okay.
Is breaking down into what? Into a kingdom. Isibuyela lapha ekuqaleni ngoba yayiqale i-kingdom. Nisezwakala?
Yebo.
Yep.
All right. Now ke sesingedlula ke la. Sesiyazi ukuthi who is the speaker angithi? Ngeke sayibanga ke le. So he says, the angel says, he took a stand to support and protect uDarius the Mede. Umbiza ngegama. Uthi uyena nje yedwa noMikhayeli okwazi ukuthi abe ngakuyena. Abanye bebengekho ngakuyena uma yena ethi uzomvikela uDarius the Mede. Kusezwakala?
Yep.
Siseku verse 2 ka chapter 11. Siseku verse 2. Now, why evikela uDarius the Mede? Khumbula, yilona kwakumele akhiphe i-decree ukuthi uIsrael akabuyele emuva ukwakha ukukhanda eJerusalem. Nisekhona?
Sikhona.
Sikhona baba.
Now, this usuyayibona i-connectedness yalesi prophet. Ngoba ku-chapter 9 kukhulunywa ngo-2,300 days and 70 of those weeks that are allotted to your people, Daniel. Angithi? And there is this Darius the Mede who is supposed to make this happen. That's why this angel took a stand to support and to protect this Darius the Mede. Sengedlula la. We agree with the PG Temple encwadini yakhe ethi Daniel and the Revelation when he says Satan was trying to influence Cyrus, the Persian king, and thus keep the decree from going forth to restore the Jews to Jerusalem and prevent the fulfillment of the prophecy. Itingilosi no, kumele lesi propheto sifezeke njengoba esibonile uDaniel. And this other one, Lucifer, is fighting this angel. Hence, chapter 10, itele Ngilosi, he has been prevented from bringing the answer of Daniel for 21 days, 3 weeks, or 3 sevens. Seniyabona ukuhlangana kwakhe. Sisazwana lapha.
Kusacaca mfundisi yabasha.
Okay. Le argument ukuthi abanye bathi lengilosi uGabriel abanye I don't want to entertain it. Why do I not want to entertain it? Ingoba, I'm saying, if it was Gabriel, lengilosi ima beku Gabriel igama layo, uDaniel bese akwayibona ku chapter 9 verse 21. Uma ethi, while I was still in prayer, Gabriel, the man I had seen in the earlier vision, came to me. Akasho manje ukuthi Gabriel, the man I had seen earlier. Therefore, we don't agree with those about Gabriel lengilosi. But for convenience, if you say no, let's call him Gabriel. Njengamabhunu esikhathi esinqobile nathi. Everybody, every male was John. Nisekhona Mvelasi?
Yeah, sikhona baba.
John noma ungesena uJohn. I thought, hey John, come here. Ubuza ukuthi ubani I mean you. So uma ke sehambisana nalo ndlela, then we can agree, but really I do not agree with this was God. Ku verse 2 angimfundi. Now then I tell you the truth. What truth is he talking about? Was there a time when he was not talking the truth? No. So this truth must be something very, very important. Nanti ke iqiniso semchazela lona, ubona uma seseqhubeka eselichaza. Uthi ke uma sechaza ke, iqiniso lithi kusenamakhosi amathathu asePersia azolandela. Emveni kwalamakhosi amathathu still asePersia kuzoqhamuka eyesine inkosi eyobe icebe ingubane, filthy rich, and iyothola ubukhosi ngengcebo yayo. That means it's going to bribe people to make him the king. Sisezwana so far?
Yep.
This is the truth. Eshiwo Ingilosi. Asikaphumi embusweni wesibili wamaMede namaPersia. And yet Ingilosi sibala ukuthi kuzoba khona amakhosi amathathu. All right? And this one ecebile, he was going to stir up everyone against the kingdom of grace. Akenzeki lokho. Ithi inkosi, hey, angisheshe ngilungise lona. Akhona kuzokwenzeka lesi propheto ngendlela yaso, but lalela lawo naDaniel naliqiniso ungezwe abantu bekutshela bekukhohlisa. Nanti iqiniso lithi kunamakhosi amathathu asazolandela ala ePersia. Ungethuki uma ubona kuphuma lenkosi ngena lenkosi phinde kuphuma lenkosi ngena lenkosi phinde kuphuma, akashintshi umbuso kusewumbuso wodwa wasePersia. Ebese kuzofika eyesine, uyibona ngante eyesine iyobe icebe imbani and iyozama ukuthi abantu abangawujoyina umbuso wama-Greek okumele mawulandele noma kanjani. And uma ubuya kwi-history lapha ku-chapter 8 uzothola ukuthi uverses 6 and 7 5, 6 and 7 kukhulunywa ngale mpongo eqhamuke yazo hlasela lenqama and kuthiwa akekho okwazi ukusenza. And I've got history there to support ukuthi kwakukhona amanye ama-tribes or nationalities or those kingdoms that were under the Persian kingdom abathi bona basazokulwa balwe with Persia eyayivele sinqotshwa. That one proved ku chapter 8 part 1 angedluleke. Now ofat mawuqaphele ngo chapter 11 ukuthi it's a simple straightforward chapter if you are a student of history. There are not too many codes to decode here. You just have to read what is in front of you and understand that which is in front of you, and that is it with chapter 11. Sisezwana so far. Now, lamakhosi amathathu ke nalena eyodwa yesine ezobe icebile. Siqala sithi ke uCyrus was specifically appointed by God to allow the Jews to go back to Jerusalem to begin the rebuilding of Jerusalem. That is according to Isaiah 44 verse 28 and Isaiah 45 verse 1. Zokuthola lokho kuprophethiwe. So kwangeke kube omunye umuntu, and because uNkulunkulu seprophethe kanje uSatan tried to prevent this ukuthi kungenzeki ngoba uphikisana nobani noNkulunkulu. Remember ukuthi sathi lencwadi kaDaniel iphethe icontroversy phakathi kaSathane noNkulunkulu. You remember that? Here we are proving this controversy here. Sure enough, when Cyrus attacked Babylon, the special protective gates were open, as stated in the prophecy about him in Isaiah 45 verse 1. I'm trying to prove here that Osiris was given this kingdom, Babylon. He didn't have to fight for it. That's why Whitehatter, without even raising one spear, except the spear that killed Belshazzar, that wicked, ugly, stupid, and satanic king, thathe izitsha ezingcwele ophuzela ngazo kanye nezakhe. So there was going to be 3 kings that stood up in Persia after him, after Osiris, and then a 4th one that would be far richer. Now, asiwabaleke la makhosi ke. Cambyses, Osiris' son, was the first of these 3 kings. He started a campaign to conquer Egypt once he was a king. After that, then Cambyses murdered his brother Smerdis and became king, and then attacked Egypt and won and looted Egyptians of their gold, silver, and their idols, and came back to Persia. Then he became a second king. All right? On return, he found a man purporting to be Smerdis, his murdered brother. Bo ungasali la sokuyi-history now. Ngiyakulandisa. Ngithe 1, uCambyses, oyindodana kaCyrus. Uyena othathe ubukhosi emveni kaCyrus. Alright? Wathi masethathe emveni kaCyrus, wayeselwa ne-south yakhe okuyi-Gibhithe. Kubalulekile lokuthi uku-understand, especially mawulapha kwa-chapter 8. Hey, there's a lot lapha kwa-chapter 8. Umqondo wami usasele kuyona. So he started the campaign to conquer Egypt then. And then, lo Cambyses, indodana kaCyrus, ubene twin brother yakhe, igama layo okunguSmerdis. Abuka wathi, no, I have to kill this one. Uyayazi into kwenza ukuthi uShaka waphola kanjani ubukhosi, umakhosi ayithola ubukhosi wathola kanjani kwaZulu. You know that. So there's nothing different. Then uthe masesebulela umfowabo wayeseseya lapha neGibhithe eseyohlasela khona, wabuya nezinto azithumbile, the loot yakhe yaseGibhithe, amagolide, amasiliva, esephethe nalokho neyithixo zaseGibhithe. Khumbula akasiyena umJuda, so akhonto wrong uma enqoba isizwe besethatha nonkulunkulu baso leso sizwe. Then after that, mase buyele emuva, nangu umuntu usebusa esikhundeni sakhe. Useyabusa lo muntu ufana ncamashi noSmerdis loya ayembulele uzathatha ubukhosi. This is one. And this was the second king of the 3. Now, wesibili ke lo Smerdis, fana kaSmerdis. This was the second king. And so, utmayibona lokho, other historians, they say, umane wamelwa inhliziyo. Livukile ithwini lami, washona. Abanye bathi, no, akamelwanga inhliziyo, this fault Smerdis, kodwa he died out of something 8 months later. Asizongena lapho ama historians, they never agree totally. They agree but never agree totally. So he was sympathetic to the Jews and thus gave another decree to continue the work of the rebuilding of the Jews. Siselapha kwalwana obe protector. And then another one had to come up now. He gave the Jews full autonomy in their country. Who is this one now? Oh, saying Darius the Persian now. Darius the Persian, not the Mede, the Persian. Sesisesikhathini samaPeshiya phela manje. So kuyinkosi yesithathu le esengikhuluma ngayo. Yokuqala bekubani? uCambyses.
Yes.
Angithi?
Yes.
Cambyses yokuqala, eyesibili kwabani? Iloya Smerdis,
Yes.
or a false Smerdis. All right? So this false Smerdis was a Mede and not sympathetic to the Jews. And so he stopped the rebuilding of inner Jerusalem. That is why kube nama decrees amathathu engikhulume ngawo lapha chapter 9. All right? So then 8 months later, this false Smerdis, he died. He dies mysteriously. So Darius, the Persian now, not the Mede, he takes over as a third king. yase-Persia. Sisezwana? So this is the Darius that gave full autonomy and even gave amaJuda inasingana material and things like that. Neza amasosha obakhapha ngamasosha and things like that. Ukuze kufezeke in his prophet, but he did not know what he was fulfilling the prophecy. All right? So he gave the Jews full autonomy. Regrettably, he did not live long. He died. And when he died, a fourth king who was rich, filthy rich, was Xerxes. Xerxes, the fourth king now, who was rich. Yabona sohamba ngokwe prophet. Sesiwabaleli lamathathu. Ayizoqhamuka ngithi. Sesikulena yesine manje eyizobe very rich. UXerxes igama layo. And so when he comes in, he organized himself a big army to attack Greece, but failed, just as the angel said he would. So there were other kings of Persia that came after him, like Ahasuerus, Esther, and others, but they did not have much to do with the prophecy. So, siyedlula ke kubonake, bedlula kanye nombuso wamaPersia la. Sesifika manje na ke sibuyela ku chapter 8 bakithi. The he-goat and the empire. Kuhle ukuthi silande lapho. Now, why silanda lapha ku chapter 8? Ingoba bengithe chapter 7 no chapter 8. Chapter 8 elaborator chapter 7. And chapter 9 elaborator chapter 8. Chapter 8 elaborator chapter 7. So wonke kusayuse into eyodwa lena. So kuhle ukuyilanda lapha yana. Following the botched attack kaXerxes, sakumuntu uXerxes attack iGreece. Kodwa wehluleka. Now, do you think ama-Greeks afanele athule nje nathi hayi ngoba wehlulekile asale sesiyeka ke siphathe? No, they did a revenge attack. Uyabona mvelasi mabe engathi bafuna ukukora igoli bahlasela amabhalini angakini ebese niyalithola ibhola anilithola ibhola nihlale nalo nilibambela nibuyisela not attack emuva ngithi kuthiwa i-counter attack. So what the Greeks did here, they did a counter attack kulo Xerxes osehlulekile yena. Do you think ama-Greeks azohluleka njengaye? No. That is when the change of empire took place from the Persian Empire to the Greek Empire. History has it that their revenge attack was so swift that it took Persia by a sweet surprise. We are not told in this verse about the speed, but we are told about the succession. That is what this verse is highlighting. It's not highlighting the speed, the swiftness, but it's highlighting the succession. That's what is important. So for a moment, we shall take a glimpse at chapter 8, where this he-goat is introduced. Lempongo introduced of chapter 8. This we do to show that this indeed is still the same kingdom. Daniel 8 verses 6 and 7. It came to us the two-horned ram. The two-horned ram amamid and amaperis now, because of those two horns, Medes and the Persians. And the longer horn grew later. So the Persians, they took a longer time on the kingdom than the Medes. All right. ukhumbula lapha ku chapter 7 kwakuyi inasane leopard yenamaphika u4 okukhulunywa ngawo lana. But let's come back to this goat. In this chapter, though it is no longer a leopard, but it's a goat now, a he goat, with note that it is so fast that the prophet says it was flying. And then let me help you better than I did help Lababanye. I'll be highlighting something here. Can you see on the map there? Nancy Ikris. All right? Ikrisle. Ama Persians on this side. Ikrisle. On the western side. Now, on the map, learn from the key. That's a Greek cities that allied with Persia. Ilarisa, they aligned with Persia and they were defeated. Nale, Argos aligned with Persia and they were defeated. Tips, they aligned with Persia. But there were so many that were aligned with Greek. Erita, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see, on one side the pair. Excuse me. Nasa side in lama Persia. Hey, nampa laba Abrahamsana nama Greek. Bengama Persia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yabon, paninga cool. So, they rebelled against their kingdom and fought with the enemy. So they made themselves to be captured by the enemy. Then that was how swift that kingdom fell, was a grace. Bengekho lapho kahle kahle. La bengikhona bengila. The broken kingdom or the broken empire. The correct terminology there is a broken empire. History has it that Alexander the Great drank himself to death at the age of 32 years old, much younger than you, Mvelase. So this the Bible calls the broken kingdom. This prophecy as well does say that it was then parceled up or divided into 4 directions of the compass. And study look at this next slide. In this next slide, I will be focusing on this one. This is the Greek kingdom. Buka-ke into esiyenzekile la. Uphondo obelu la phakathi kwamehlo obelugqamile, prominent, underline prominent horn, lwephukile, kwasekuthi in their place kwaseqhamuka these are the prominent horns. Prominent horns. What does prominent mean? Matandoni, uthisha wena.
Baluleke.
Prominent means is dominating, overpowering, among others, or outstanding among others.
You see, outstanding among others. I like that one. And outstanding among others. That means these 4 horns were not only 4, but these were outstanding among others. Angithi lama horns asemele ama generals ama ga Alexander the Great, angithi?
Yeah, yes.
Now, I mangaka ama generals ga Alexander the Great. Ayo 36. 36 of them. But out of these 36, kugama only how many? 4. Yingakho uzwe iBhayibheli lichaza kahle lapha lithi these are prominent horns. ungasho ukuthi lempongo ibe siba neimpondo eziwu4 kuphela, cha, besingena u4 kuphela, but eziqavile zibe u4. Sesizibiza ngamagama ke here uKhassanda laphayana ophathe indawo yase Macedonia under Greece, kube khona uPtolemy lapha ophathe indawo yase Gibhithe noJuda, kube khona uSeleucus ophathe iSyria neBabylon kaNebuchadnezzar, kube khona uLysimachus ophathe iAsia Minor. Nisekhona bazalwane?
Sikhona.
Yebo sikhona mfundisi.
All right. Qaphela. Ngifuna ukuthi now as we continue, pay more attention no Ptolemy.
To Ptolemy.
Ptolemy and Seleucus. Ngoba as they were 36 and they were contending for this kingdom, eyodwa, they were too fragmented. And so, just like ubona amakhansela ethu ebulalana wodwa banga inasana ithambo lomile nalo ngoba sinamali sinjalo. This is the thing that was happening here. So they could not make up an empire anymore. They could only contend for the kingdom. So each one took this kingdom and took this one, that kingdom. And abanye, they had to be slaughtered under them and be defeated and be put under that one. And that one was not making an empire. It was simply extending the kingdom of umbuzo owodwa lona kahle kahle ofragmentile. Bese uma uthatha umbuso wakaZulu osufake ngaphansi kwawo umthembu, omthethwa, omhlongo, oluthuli, usuya fragmenta manje. uThuli usefuna ukuyimela, umhlongo usefuna ukuyimela, umthetho usefuna ukuyimela, umvela usefuna ukuyimela, and wenzakalani ngombuso? Kusabe seyiyona empire yakwaZulu? No, akuseyona empire, sokuyini? I-kingdom. That is what was happening here. Nandi iphuthe lenziwa umbhali, i-artist yamla. Uthe lempongo imele uAlexander the Great. Niyalibona? Nansi ngiyi-highlight. Uthi lempongo lo imele ubani? Alexander the Great. Uyavumelana naye noma awuvumelane naye? Nanka lo mbuzo ngibuza wona lapha.
Yebo kunjalo.
Uyavumelana naye?
Yebo mfundisi.
Ubani omunye ovumelana naye? Oh yeah, all right. Let me quickly correct you. That can never be correct. Beste impongo le imele ini?
Kingdom.
Kingdom, umbuso wamaGreek. Sasithi uphondo olodwa lolana olugqamile, prominent horn. Limele ubani?
Oh.
U-Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great. Yes.
Not the goat.
Oh,
Not the goat.
igoat inophondo kuhlukile.
Kwehlukile.
Okay.
That's a mistake that many people do. Awedwa lapho. And I'm glad uNkulunkulu directed to this class so that that mistake can be corrected. Now, nansiyana ke imap engifakele yona. Nansi imap engifakele yona. In this map, nangu Lysimachus. Who on the north, angithi, north of Egypt. Respond, please. Talk to me now.
Yes, we follow. Siyabona baba. Siyabona.
Now, isikhathi esiningi ke uma kukhulunywa nge-king of the north, all right, kukhulunywa ngobani? ngoLysimachus. Uma kukhulunywa nge-king of the north, kukhulunywa ngobani? NgoLysimachus. Makukhulunywa nge-king of the south, kukhulunywa ngobani? NgoPtolemy. But you remember I said, put your attention on Ptolemy and Seleucus. You remember I said that?
Yes.
Yes, we remember.
Ingoba uSeleucus conquered uLysimachus. I like this thing. When uSeleucus conquered uLysimachus, now uLysimachus say under Seleucus, the second.
Yeah, bro. Yes.
So who was the king of the north?
Seleucus.
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 It again pained. Nangu usayikhalela lapha umama uKhathide uthi ayiselahlekile yena manje. So we need to go slowly. This is now at least semphethe history here in the chart singebona. Ithe lama generals ayiphethe ayi-33 wasegqama only 4 angithi.
Yes.
Now mawubheka uSeleucus uphethe iTurkey, inasikana iSyria, iJordan, iIraq, iIran, iAfghanistan, nengxenye yePakistan, naleya nasingana nalawa yabona maningi kangakanani. So kwakhona igeneral la, kukhona igeneral la, kukhona igeneral la, kukhona igeneral nalana yabona sisezwana lapho.
Yes.
Now ingakho ke ayemaningi kodwa lona uSeleucus wakwazi ukunqoba wonke lama generals ayisiba ngaphansi kwakhe. Kwase kuba uyena i-king of the east. Sisezwana lapho.
I king of the north, king of the east.
uSeleucus la nasi chart yami yabona ukhiye enginikeze wona la. Nangu Seleucus. Who is king of what?
Of east.
Yes.
Of east.
Oh, king of the east. Ngiyabona from me key. Okay.
Yes. uSeleucus is a king of the east. But mawubheka i-territory yakhe ingakanani?
Inkulu.
Is too vast. Angithi? That means he was the most powerful kule general yayila, nale general yayila, nale general yayila, nale general yayila. He conquered all of these generals and then consolidated this kingdom to be the kingdom of the east. Kuseyona iGreece, say Greek kingdom, broken angithi. But so kukhona king of the east, the king of the north, the king of the west, the king of the south. Sisezwana.
Yebo sisezwana.
Ungasali mama ukubheka. Mama Khathide musukusala. All right. Now, let king of the east ngithe put your attention kule king of the east nale king of the south. Sisezwana?
Yebo sisezwana.
Yebo.
Now, sengibuyela kule king of the east. Isihlasela leya king of the north. Isi-extenda ngelodwa i-dominion yayo over here. Nisekhona.
Sisekhona.
Sekungubani manje king of the north?
Seleucus.
So Seleucus.
King of the north.
You got it. That's a twist. Ebifike abantu abaningi ibashaya bangabe sa understand how kanjani manje sokubani manje king of the north. Wehluliwe lo Lysimachus. wehlulwa uSeleucus. Therefore, he becomes the king of the north. uSeleucus. Nalo Cassander, he was weak in that at one time he tried to make an ally with Lysimachus. Nisekhona?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, when he made an ally with Lysimachus, and told Lysimachus, double crosser. So, uma seba conquered Lysimachus, what happens to Cassander? Uyanqotshwa naye ngokufanayo. I'm getting that. Now, so besayixoxa lento from the map, asikayi eBhayibhelini. Sesizoya eBhayibhelini ke manje niyozwa ke iyobe seyilula uma uzwa iBhayibheli seyichaza lento ingilosi beautifully. I love history that way. Uyamangala umvelazi ukuthi why sengithanda ihistory angaka manje ngasathi ngisengithanda igeography. Hayi ngisashaya yona igeography nala. Okay. Uyabona sokugcina sokusele ubani uPtolemy nobani noSeleucus. Njobe ngithe put your attention on these two. Laba babalula kabi. Shaya ibhaqabelana oqhamu laphana ilahleke yonke lento. All right. Sengedlula ke manje nala and go to the next slide. Ngizakutshengisa ke manje sengifuna ukuthi uqala ubone I'm introducing iRome. Ngintroduce yini manje?
Rome.
iRome is not part of Greece here. Says one.
Yes.
iGreece ihamba lapha. Yabona? Ihamba lapha neGreece. iRome lena ihamba ngapha. Mawubheka from the previous map, uyabona ukuthi iCyprus iCyprus le Lebanon neIsrael bonke nale nasingani ba under Greece. Kanti uma seya kwi next slide usayibona iCyprus nansiya. So khona manje ini iSyria this side. Nansi Italia, iRome is somewhere here. Somewhere here. iRome as Rome. Now, phakathi kukhona uCassander no bani here. Now, sokuzoqhamuka ubuqilike manje uzobona sekuqhamuka lana ke ebese bonke labana sebe conquer sebeba inosane king of the north. Uzobona base sigena kuyona in the next one. Bengisathi kule map, let me introduce to you inasingana iRome yize ingaka ngeni. Nansi masukutshengisa from the this map up, blown that one up. There is a Vatican City, which is a country on its own, with ambassadors even to Italy. Yize Italy. It's built on 7 hills, but so lokho ngesinye isikhathi esizayo. Not now. Let me pass on from now. Now, let's get to some further details in Greece. It was prophesied that it will not be left to that first king's descendants. Mawufunda Daniel 8 verse 8. It was prophesied. And look here.
Mark this slide. This slide.
Nala.
Yes. Mark this slide.
Mark this slide. Now, ngenzela ukuthi if I refer you, ikhumbula ukuthi this is the slide number 18 engithe mark. Ngoba okuningi kuzoba kwenzeka kulesi slide ngirefer kulesi slide. And I'll be going forward i-basic ila. Sathe okokuqala, it was prophesied that the kingdom will not be left to the first king's descendants. Daniel 8 verse 8. They will not have the same power as his. Ngobani abasikhuluma ngabo la?
Kusedicus, nalenye inkosi.
No.
South.
No. Daniel 8 verse 8 kusanda kwephuka uphondo olu prominent part kwamehlo empongwa angithi. Now isithi inkosi, they will not have the same power as his. Who is his? Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great. Yeah.
All right? That is Alexander the Great. Now the generals kuthiwa kubona qale kwathiwa umbuso lo will not be left to that of the first king's descendants. Ngoba ama-generals uma efa u-Alexander aqotha imbokodo nesisekelo kwifamily ka-Alexander the Great. Kuyezwakala?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now, there is no one now to take over the kingdom aqhube umbuso kwifamily ka-Alexander the Great, because all of them have been killed. Now, that meant now ama-generals ngokwawo so kufanele ukuthi athi contend for this kingdom or this empire. Says one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when they contend for this empire, that means they are fragmenting the empire.
Oh, yes.
They are fragmenting the empire. When they fragment the empire, it doesn't become the empire anymore. It becomes a kingdom.
A kingdom.
Seniyabona why bengcile ngichaze kanjani ekuqaleni. Now, so kuthiwa-ke his empire will be uprooted and given to others. That is to one of the Alexander's generals. Executed all Alexander's family. History has it that at first, the struggle for Christian dominion was among the 36 generals. Hence we said these 4 were prominent. The angel said 4 prominent horns. That is 4 out of 36. Only 4 are prominent. And we learn from history again that the squabble among the 36 and extended to the 4, it continued even amongst the 4, and only 2 remained, who are Seleucus and Ptolemy. The second?
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting much. Now, note this. Note that the his in verse 5 still refers to Alexander the Great and not the king of the south. Daniel 8. His lapho usho Alexander the Great, not the king of the south, ongubani Ptolemy. Asedluleke la. Now, remember, I've now highlighted Ptolemy and Seleucus. You see that from the map? Now, I want you to remember that we said in chapter 8 that Rome came in a very subtle manner. Sakhumbula lokho? Indlela engene ngayo Rome, indlela very subtle, deceivable, unlike the rest of the kingdoms. So we have followed the Greek Empire story closely so far in a bid to capture this subtle Rome as it comes in. Rome is somewhere lapha. Now it's creeping into this kingdom. Now mark it, we're now putting our thumb right on the pulse ukuthi yenzeka kuphi le. We believe that we are now very close to his entry, and we shall now cut to the chase and abandon this ping-pong wars and jump straight to that verse. Let's get there. Isithi manje verse. The king of the south. Who is the king of the south? Ptolemy. All right? The king of the south will become stronger. Ptolemy will become stronger. All right? Now, when he becomes stronger, Seleucus, as one of his generals, would become stronger and rule his, that is, Seleucus's own kingdom. I'm just breaking down that verse for you. The king of the south will become stronger. So kwenziwe ipact now phakathi kaSeleucus noPtolemy. Says one.
Yeah.
Now, uset strong manje uPtolemy angithi ngale pack. Bese isithi as one of Seleucus, as one of his generals, would become stronger than the king of the south, and will rule Seleucus's own kingdom. Now, let's continue now. This is confirmed by history in that the northern kingdom, Seleucus's, was the stronger of the two. Sikuphi manje? Angithi uSeleucus lo sengibuyele emuva. Angithi niyambona uSeleucus?
Yes.
Niyambona uPtolemy?
Yes.
Now, the king of the south will become stronger. Angithi?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, uSeleucus has conquered these. Angithi? And he has made these to be his generals.
Yes.
So says one.
Yes.
Now, laba sebefile bona sokuyizingane zabo manje angithi eseziyokwazi kwenza ipact nalwana olaphayana as a general as well. So this is what this one is saying here. The northern kingdom, Seleucus's, was the stronger of the two. All right. So says Obusa, verse 6 further sheds more light. As in Daniel 11, verse 6. After some years, they will become allies. Second.
Yes, second.
On the map. I start with verse 5. No, start with verse 4. After he has appeared, who is he? Verse 4. Verse 3. Then a mighty king will appear, who will rule with great power and do as he pleases. So after he has appeared, this is this mighty king who will rule with great power and do as he pleases. When he has appeared, verse 4, his empire will be broken up and parceled out towards the four winds of heaven. So about and it will not go to his descendants. Verse, nor will it have the power as he, Alexander the Great, because his empire will be uprooted and given to others. Ama generals now. Verse 5 said, the king of the south. You see the king of the south?
Yes, that's Ptolemy.
All right. The king of the south will become strong, but one of his generals, of his commanders, will become even stronger, and then he and will rule his own kingdom with great power. Sisela kuPtolemy. As strong uPtolemy, ebese yehlulwa uPtolemy ngoba igeneral yakhe is stronger than him. Sisezwana lapha ngithi. Sisezwana lapha. Now, there is a reason why uSeleucus laphana ngim highlighte ngombala ka but one of his commanders will become even stronger and then he and rule his own kingdom with great power. After some years, they will become allies. Lo generals wala useba ally nowalo wala. All right. So ukuthi indodakazi yakwaPtolemy isiyogana kwaSeleucus na. Ikhona bezoqinisa ama-ties abo. Sisezwana.
Yeah.
Ungasali mama Khathide, ungasali.
No, ngiyeza.
Okay. Now, asiqhubeke neverse ke njoba injalo. But she will not retain her power. Hey. Uyakhishwa lo uthi hamba uyogana lapha ya. Useyafika lapha yana kuthiwe lona wena wala hlukanisa divorce umkakho ikhona uzothatha indodakazi yakho. Sekusuka umka lo Seleucus umkakhe usebulala indodakazi yalapha ngezansi kanye neimpelezi zayo. So kwenzakalani kwi-pact now between these two?
Break manje.
Break i-pact. But plus ukhona ofile ngapha obulawe ngapha. So we expect ukuthi kwenzakaleni manje?
Kuyaliwa.
Tension, conflict.
Kumele kube khona i-revenge phakathi kwalaba ababili, angithi?
Yeah.
Khumbula ukuthi bekuthiwe lona ustronga kunalo. Angithi?
Initially,
Now, this is where it gets very, very interesting. Uma sebenza i-counter attack, uyasuka lo uyohlasela lapha ya. Laba bakaPtolemy bayohlasela lapha ba revenger udadewabo. Angithi? Now, laba bahambisana nobani? NoJuda. Yezwakala? Bahambisana nama-Israyeli. So, ma lona eyohlasela lapha sebethi laba asambeni siyohamba because this one had looted Egypt. So bafuna ukwenzani? Pay revenge. Babuyise leya nasingana leya loot. And they are revenging. So iba double-edged sword i-attack yabo. And let me just tell this story from the graph. Kwenza ukuthi mase senilandele laphana ilandeleke kahle. So in those days she will be handed over together with her royal escort and her father and the one who supported her. What were handed over means they are killed. Verse 7. From one of a family line will arise, or one from her family line will arise to take her place. So kuphuma omunye la uthi no siya lapha thina siyo lungisa izinto. He will attack the forces of the king of the north. It says one, and enter his fortresses. We attack the king of the north, and he enters his fortress upon the king of the north. He will fight against them and be victorious. King of the south, mayeseya laphana, ufika uyanqoba laphaya. Angithi? Sisezwana?
Yeah.
Nilahlekile. I need to tread slowly here so that you can understand. Bese ngithe number 1, previous chapter 10, bikhona lento ukuthi kuyaliwa lapha kulaba abantu ababili, and we don't understand what is happening. But into siyachaza ke manje steadily. Now, the military strength ka south is bigger than the military strength ka east, ka north, or ka east. Okay. Sitshela phana ke, after some years, Ptolemy in the south and Seleucus in the north, they would become allies, verse 6 law, and make a treaty or a pact. Then, simply put, Ptolemy sends his daughter Beatrice to the king of the north, Seleucus, for him to marry as part of the treaty or a pact. As part of the treaty, Seleucus was supposed to divorce his queen, Laodice, and marry Bernice, which he did. Remember, God hates divorce. Malachi 2 verse 16. God hates what? Divorce. Notice Deuteronomy 22 verse 19. God hates divorce. Now, what happens then? The division among the kingdoms is getting stronger and stronger in preparation of the 10 toes. Now, not because Bernice was ugly that she was sent back home packing. Verse 7. Verse 8 to 13 again. He will also seize their gods. Okay. Verse 6. But the daughter of the north, but in the Bernice Lona, she was sent back packing. Goba, Luana Gavumanga divorce umgake, and umgake who said, Angwas uktemba lendota. Ekwazi ungenza kanje. So, angiyibulale le ndoda. Mase ngiyibulele le ndoda, ebese ngithi nawe awuzosinda when I go back home. Awuthi uyabuya endleleni ngilalela unyendle washawa wavala lapha. Now, akasekho ke manje uSeleucus. Lisekhona?
Yeah.
Let me read that one from the Bible. The verse 6, starting verse 6 again. After some years, they will become allies. The daughter of the king of the south will go to the king of the north to make an alliance. But she will not retain her power. That means she is sent back home packing. Not because Bernice was ugly that she was sent back home packing. Yes, I so far.
So far, yes, God.
Yeah.
Now, I said we submit that the hand of the Lord was guiding the affairs of men here. Seleucus remarried his former wife Laodice, and the treaty came crumbling down. Verse 6 law. Now, she will not retain her power. Because and his power will not last. Verse 6. ake sithole umuntu ozosichazela kahle ke la uPG Temple kwi Daniel and Revelation book yakhe uthi Lord is then decided that I can't have confidence in what this guy is doing. Who is this guy here? A husband. I can't trust what this guy is going to do next. So I'm going to kill him. So she had him killed. Then she had Bernice and Bernice's child killed and turned the kingdom over to her son. With Daniel and Revelation led by PG Temple. Utema said, no, yebo sesishadile engathi yasebenza lento wabuya bothi ayizosebenza lento sesinanomntwana noba nomntwana nalomuntu kodwa no, let me send her back and get back to my former wife. Then if former wife isithi ya asishade futhi kulungile kodwa sebeshadile said I can't trust what this man is going to do again. Let me have him killed. So usebulala uSelusithi himself, ubulala naleyangane kaSelusithi. Why sebulala leyangane anayo kuBernice?
Qeda amandla okubanga futhi possibility of the
lengane izobangisa indodana yakhe ubukhosi. You see that? So nayo ayibulawe nonina wayo nama-escorts sayo kill shaqotha umbhalo nesokana. Now ubukhosi usebunikeza bani? Indodana yakhe. Ubani lo sikhuluma ngaye njengamanje? Ulower this. All right? That is how Bernice is said that she would not retain her power. Now, that pushes the storyline further. What happened to the treaty? Did the king of the south just accept that? One,
No.
Kumbula what the angel said. One from her family line will arise and take her place. Ekalenga verse 7a. Now, remember, Ptolemy is dead by this time. Seleucus is also dead. The treaty took away Bernice's life together with her escorts. The second. Now, Bernice's brother, who is the king of the south now, he was enraged at the treaties of the king of the north. And he went out to attack and avenge his sister Bernice. Verse 7, verse 7b. All right? Or 10, verse 8 now. He will also seize their gods, their metal images, and their valuable articles of silver and gold, and carry them off to Egypt. For some years, he will leave the king of the north alone. Verse 8, Lord. Straightforward to verse 8. Now, kumele ube a student of history to get this thing very well. Now, I would love to pause somewhere to verse 9. Now. Let me just go up to verse 9 kuphela. Ningisize kulokho. Now, we should remember that in verse 2, Cambyses, the second king, had looted Egypt. Sakhumbula lokho? And he was part of the northern kingdom. Now, it is important to note that the south included the regions of Egypt at this point. So, when this king of the south marches his armies to the king of the north, Egyptians came along with him, mainly to take Cambyses' spoils back to Egypt. That is what PG Man is saying here. I just took those notes from PG. Now, okumele masikhumbule masithi the south is not just the south. It's not just Egypt. It also includes Judah and the portions thereof. Now, ngokusho kwakhe, this south was not just, or it excluded Egypt when we know that it included Egypt. That is why I'm saying people tend to confuse these things. Asiqhubeke naye kodwa. Then the king of the north. Who is the king of the north now? Seleucus' son. Laithole kulawadis. All right? He will invade the realm of the king of the south. That is Ptolemy's son now. Lo sebusa umfobo kaBenis. All right? But will retreat to his own country. Now, this is getting more interesting. The king of the Seleucus' son, who invaded manje, the king of the south. Your invader, he retreats back. This is very, very interesting. Kaphela ke lana kuthiwe laphana kukhulunywe ngomningi nanobunye kumele masikunakeke. History has this record that as it stands in this verse here. And his son will prepare for war. His sons will prepare for war. Nyambono his sons, verse 10. His sons, not son, his sons, ubuningi, plural, will prepare for war and assemble a great army, which will sweep on like an irresistible flood and carry the battle as far as his fortress. Now, this verse is poetic. One should note that the plural ka-sons kanye singular of his, not their. From the King James Version it reads, but his sons shall be stirred up and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through, then shall he, one, return and be stirred up even to his fortresses. Now, lamadodana amabili eselwa manje sebona nawo awalandelele yaluthi bahambe ngoba kuinvadiwa inasikana inorth lana kwenziwa imess. Now bathi mabakulwa neking of the south. Uthola ukuthi eyodwa yalena eyona ekhuluma kakhulu ukuthi akuliwe nakho iyinkosi. Bathi yayingahlakaniphile kahle. So ama generals ayibuka athi hey sesiyokulwa ngempela nathi sesiyokulwa kusho lona ongakwazi nokuthi umkhonto uphathwa ngasiphi isandla. Ayikho lento. Indlela elula asigudluze lento endleleni. Eseyiphakile yena impi. Kodwa thothi akasakwazanga kwakuphuma kwakwi fortress yakhe. Yilento eshiwo yiverse ke lana. Niyafisa ukuthi ngime la?
Yebo. Sibambisa siyazwakala kanje. Siyasibambini.
Angeke nginibuze imibuzo namhlanje. Not unless you want to. You can indicate to me if you really want to, but otherwise bese ngithi kuhleke manje sivale la. sephakamisile umvelase ukuthi asivale la and kukhona noNomdayi angibonanga esengena ke yena ngabe ngi-acknowledgeile again. And that is it, friends. I'm hoping for the best next time. Let us close our eyes and pray. Baba wethu sikhaya ezulwini, namanje ntambama siletha udumo kuwe, siletha ukukhosi amandla nenkazimulo. Sithethelele Kristu okuphambuka okuningi esiphambuke kukho ngakho. Sicela uNkulunkulu engcwele ukuba nale ncwadi kaDaniel lesi siprofetho si-understand ukuba sinzima kangakanani ngoba uze wathumela ingilosi ekhaya ezulwini ukuthi mayize izochazisela incebo yakho uDaniel. Eyayithi neya-understand kanti ayi-understandanga lutho. Esiqonda kangcono ukuthi kweyamene nesiprofetho ebese sinikezwe nguwena ku-Daniel chapter 9 unto 2,300 days. Okumele masi-understandile ephathelene nokuhlanjwa nokuhlanjululwa kwendawo engcwele. Esizibuza ukuthi kanti isekhona yini namhlanje, isekhona. How effective is it in our Christian life, in our story, in our engagement with you? Silekelele ke Kristu ukuthi kona konke lokhu sikwazi ukuphumelela ukufeza abantwana bakho bathokoze ngoKristu. Ngiyakhuleka manje kuze phakade. Amen.
Amen. Yebo.